Alright, welcome back. Today we're going to do actually several unboxings and a comparison. So I have the smaller or original Red Max from Estes, classic kit. And I think I mentioned in the unboxing I did of the big Red Max, the size differences. It literally looks like the big one is like just literally 100 times upscale or a doubling. The length of this one is 16.3 inches and the diameter is 1.64 inches, which is literally about half the diameter of the 3-inch version, which is the Estes Pro Series one. But this is also 18mm motor, so A, B's, and C's. Probably a little too heavy for an A. I think they recommend B's and up to C's, but you could also then get into some of the composite engines from like Aerotech Quest. They make an 18mm D engine, several actually, that would fly really well. This is literally the first time I've opened this kit. So I guess you could call it a true 100% unboxing because I have no idea what's in it. Very typical full color. It says it includes the original Red Max decal set, which is good because from what I've seen from some other people who've done upscales and stuff, I guess finding the original decals is actually a little tricky. So far it's pretty standard Estes kit. Engine hook. Looks like a little thrust ring, engine retainer ring, their rubber shock cord, cardstock shock cord mount, so a little heavy dutier on the shock cord mount, which is nice. It does have the very iconic skull and crossbones parachute, which I've seen a couple other guys, I think in the instructions the way they mount it is so that the skull and crossbones would be pointing up. I know a lot of guys who actually flip it inside out so that you can actually see the skull and crossbones when it comes down. I do like the fact that it comes with a pre-colored black nose cone. That'll make finishing it easier. There is a slight line of flash that will probably need to be sanded. I hope it doesn't discolor when it sands. Sometimes when you get colored plastics like this and you go to sand them, they'll, so that you'd end up with a gray line right there and you'd still have to paint it. So I don't know, I may paint that, I may not. It feels like I think it's like a polystyrene. The one thing I will say is the hook right here looks a little thin and a little small. Obviously there's some extra plastic flashing in the middle of it that I have to cut out, so I might be able to kind of thicken it up with that. But, I mean, at the same time, it looks a little small to me because I've been doing larger, high-powered kits recently. Does this come with nose cone weight? No, it does not. Interesting. A couple little launch knobs. Wow, this is going to be so tiny compared to the other one. That's going to be it. Here's your motor mount. Nice thing about the original kit here is, unlike the upscale version, the Pro Series, one of the big complaints is the way they did the fins on the Pro Series. They're actually 3-piece fins if you use their balsa wood that they send. I actually purchased an upgrade from eRockets.biz, and I think Launch Lab has it as well, called the Vanderburn upgrade kit, where it's 1/4-inch plywood centering rings as well as fins and an upgraded shock cord for the big one. These are very interesting centering rings. I'm not quite sure what's going on with this particular ring set here. See if I can get that in view. There we go. This one, it's a very odd shape. Huh. I'll have to look that up because these are obviously the motor mount centering rings. This might be a lot of times they include small tools and stuff so that you can get your alignment worked out. That might be exactly what that is. Water slide decals, which are great. Really high quality. On smaller rockets like this, I definitely like the water slide decals. These are awesome. I love the little kill logos. So for anybody who's looking for the original set, maybe I'll do a couple of high quality still pictures of this and post them somewhere. There's a couple of guys who redo stickers for high power upscales. One of them, I think it's called stickershock.com. He does some high scale upscales for this because I know, like I said, that this is the original Estes version, and then there's the Estes Pro version, which I have as well. And I'm trying to remember, I thought I saw a mini version out there, which would be even smaller than this, but I also remember seeing an even larger upscale that's like a 6-inch diameter. Nice balsa fin sheet, laser cut, and as you can see, they're all single piece, which is nice. God, compared to other kits I've been working on, this feels so flimsy. Hang on just a second. Let me get my calipers out and see what the thickness is. I don't want to guess. Like 12-inch. Fraction, please. 1/8, 1/8 inch. Which, for those you metric guys, just over 3 millimeters. But yeah, the fraction was 1/8. Good digital calipers, always a very handy thing to have. I bought a cheaper one that wasn't digital and it was just too hard to read all the time. So I went and spent a little extra money to get a digital. I think it was about 40 bucks. Pretty straightforward Estes kit. Nothing too fancy. Looks like a really simple build. High quality decals, which is great. I do like the upgraded shock cord mount. And I mean, really one of the biggest things that people love about this kit was the custom parachute. You know, which I think you can order just the parachute itself nowadays. Yeah, pretty laser cut adapter set. That's what it says those are. Pretty straightforward instructions from Estes. White primer, red paint, black paint. Oh, so I bet they're going to have you actually paint the shock cord. Trying to find out what these extra cardstock rings are for. Yeah, it's pretty much instead of having a wrap. Okay, most standard Estes kits would give you in the instructions there would be what they call a fin marking guide, which you would cut out and then wrap around and glue to your tube. And I'm assuming it's because this is an odd diameter tube versus non-standard diameter, maybe, I don't know. That's what these extra cardstocks are for. You cut them out and you slip your body tube in there, and you know, there's 4 little notches on it. One for each fin, and then one for the launch lugs. And then it allows you to mark really easily where each thing is going to go. I don't know if you could use it for a fin alignment jig. You might be able to. There's a big enough notch. You might be able to, you know, once you glue your fins on, slide one of these on and just barely get it to touch the top of the fins to try to keep them in line. But the nice thing is it's got a flat bottom, so you can actually set it down then. I'll do a build video on this one because that's kind of an interesting tool. It's not the normal wrap that you then just make your marks and then, you know, you either use a straight edge like this to draw your lines, or a door frame, or for example, a piece of angle iron as they call it. I know this is a really awkward fucking camera angle. I apologize for that. I'm working on something better. So yeah, initial thoughts and whatnot of the original size to Red Max is, yeah, it's a really straightforward, easy kit to build, not complicated at all. You know, literally one sheet of balsa for your fins, 2 cardstock centering rings, you know, and a pre-cut heavier duty shock cord mount. You know, you don't have to cut anything out of the actual instruction manual. And like I said, high quality decals and a really cool customized parachute. I understand why this kit was so popular. I don't think you could make a simpler rocket kit that you assemble. Anything simpler and it would be like a pre-made fin, or like an E2X model or something. Yeah, really straightforward. So that definitely explains the popularity as far as that goes. And it's a very cool looking rocket. It's pretty unique. It's iconic in the fact that, you know, anybody who has spent any time in the hobby of model rocketry will recognize a Red Max kit. Whether it's the original Estes or the Estes Big Red Max upgrade or an even larger custom upgrade, which I think maybe it was Wildman or Lock Precision. Somebody made a 6-inch diameter one as well, which looks beautiful. Stands like 4 feet tall or something. Eventually I'll get that one as well. You know, this is one of those kits, kind of like the Bertha kits. I don't know why I'm sticking everything in that bag. You know, Estes has the original Big Bertha, then they've got the Baby Bertha, and then they've got the Boosted, and then the Super Big Bertha. I plan to get all of those as well. I do have the Baby Bertha kit now, which is really cool. Interesting little side note, the original Big Bertha was, that entire rocket was designed around a paper towel tube, the original. And I believe to this day it still holds a similar diameter. It's just not fitting right. One of the untold problems about doing unboxing. Getting everything to go back in the right way. You know? People don't talk about that. How difficult it can be to repack when you don't pay attention to how it comes out. Okay, so that's the original. Now I'm going to go ahead and bring out the Pro version just to show you a few differences real quick. And the upgrades that I bought with it. So, this is the upgraded Estes as well. And like I said, I know there's some other people out there who've done even larger upscales. I'm going to find out who that is. So, as you can see, we have a rather large difference here. This is 3-inch diameter. The other one's literally half that, 1.6. I mean, look at the size of the nose cones. This nose cone alone, I believe, is bigger than the original model. But it retains the same shape, and it's an ogive shape as far as I know. I don't know what the ratio is. It's probably like a 1:5 or 1:6, something like that, which describes essentially the curvature of the nose cone and its shape. The real big upgrade that I've seen out there actually came with a filament wound fiberglass nose that had a aluminum tip that was properly shaped and everything to match the original. This one has a much better hook, shock recover hook, much thicker. Same thing, it's a polystyrene type plastic. Pretty standard. Doesn't take paint very well. So I'll do a video on that as well. So yeah, big difference in the stickers as well. Very similar, not as many, and these are vinyl. So these are just peel and stick. We still got the Kills ones, which are just a straight upscale. We've got the ones skull and crossbone. We've got the wrap. We've got the title. Some other warning labels. Niche Stompin'. That's nice. And Mit Grabbin'. That's funny. Still a decent kit. We only have the one iron cross. I think in this one we had 2 iron crosses. The lettering and whatnot of the name, I think the font is a little different. I mean, screw it. Let's just do it side by side here. Okay, so first comparison. Airframes. Original. Upscale. Yeah, so it is genuinely twice the size. I don't know how well you can see that. If I could center it, you'd see it was exactly doubled. Even the length is pretty much exactly doubled. And as you can tell with the nose cones, it's pretty much identical shape. But yeah, big difference in size. But that's why you get kits like this, because it's really cool to have the different versions. At least I think so. That's the great thing about model rocketry, okay? Not only is it a nice, fun hobby and it teaches you a whole lot of different skills. Oh yeah, you can see big difference in the originals to this. Okay. So here's the original. Oh no, I guess the font is the same for the actual name. Here's the originals. Out of the goddamn way, sorry. That's the wrap. We've got 2 copies of the name. We've got doubles of all of the Niche Stompin', Mick Grabbin'. Actually triples, because there's another set right there. We've got the Motor Virkens warning label, the skull and crossbones. Here's the upscale. We've got the wrap. We've got 3 of the Motor Virkens. We've only got 1 of the actual name. Let's see. We've only got one copy each of the Mitt Graben and Niche Stompen. The originals, we've got 2 iron crosses. We've got 2 of the helmeted skull and crossbones. And in upscale, we've only got 1 and 1 iron cross. We've got the same kill logos. Those are exactly identical. Those literally just looked like a complete upscale. We've got the top secret on the original, not on the upscale. So yeah, you can see you get quite a few more decals on the upscale than you do, or on the original than you do on the upscale. Maybe, yeah. That's kind of depressing. That's kind of a bummer, huh? I'm gonna have to look into that. I might check out that sticker shock guy and see if he can do. Wow, that's funny. I just noticed something. Yep. On both the original and the upscale. Let's see if I can get this in view. This is really neat. The screws across here, across the top, the rivets, it's like a screw, a peace sign, screw, 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 peace sign, screw, screw, screw. And it's the same on the original. It's little neat things like that. Yeah, I'm going to see if I can get an actual upscaled version of the water slides or more complete vinyls. You would think in the upscale that you would end up with more. You know, there's more rocket to cover. But then again, that's also more cost. So that's your trade-off. I'm sure I can find somebody who can print up more additional, you know. And these are just, I don't even know if these are vinyl. I'm not sure what they are. They're like they feel vinyl, but they're clear. You know, most vinyl has a white backing or something like that. Okay, that's for the big version. Let me not get my 2 mixed up here. Not that it wouldn't be easy to figure out which is which. I mean, obviously, there's a huge difference in size. That's what she said. Understand now why a few people were disappointed with the upscale Pro version from Estes. A lot of people complained about the quality of the stickers, which I hadn't noticed until I compared them. A lot of people complained about the fins being a 3-piece. And same thing about the really kind of weak cardstock centering rings for the engines that this can take. If I remember correctly, on the Pro Series version, it is I believe it's a 29mm, which means it can take everything up to a G in theory, which is a pretty big engine, really. 1/4-inch launch lug, and that's right. They even specifically stay on this upgraded version. They don't put a thrust ring inside the motor tube, which means you can use any length of motor. I can tell you right now, this is about the size of an F engine right here. So if you put a G or a bigger F in it, you know, it's going to stick out pretty far into the rocket, which is fine. And that's why they have the retention system they do. They have a screw-on retainer. So whatever motors you use, you have to make sure that you have a thrust ring on them, or you have to put tape on them. So I can see why some people would complain about the Pro version. You would think, being a Pro version, that, you know, Estes would have. It's great that there's no thrust ring. I'm glad that they thought ahead as far as engine size. And the screw-on retainer is nice, but you would think they would upgrade the shock cord, for example, and come up with a better fin jig, higher quality decals. You know, it's like they skimped on certain things, and you can tell they did, you know. So I understand the complaints now. Like I showed before, I bought the upgraded laser cut plywood. 1/8 inch, these are, okay, 1/8 inch plywood fins, and I got the upgraded 1/8 inch centering rings. These particular rings come with a little notch laser cut in the forward ring, and that is for the upgraded shock cord as well. Polypropylene shock cord, 1/2 inch by 30 feet. Yeah. That will be more than adequate. And that's the thing, the 29mm engine mount with no thrust ring, which means you can put any length engine in it, there's no reason you can't put, you know, a Cesaroni 4-grain motor in here, or a 6-grain. I don't know if a 6-grain XL would fit. I mean, an XL would probably literally take up almost to the nose cone. You know, I don't know if I'd go that big, which would be like, an I motor of some kind. I don't think you'd want to go that big in here. It would be out of sight. But I could see somebody flying an H in it, a lower H, or a high impulse G, which I plan to fly in them. So there's some differences between the Pro and non-Pro version. I highly suggest that if you get the Pro version, you get the upgraded centering rings and fins, as well as an upgraded shock cord. Because if you're going to upgrade it, and you know, if you're going to really fly it as a Pro kit, like some of the other Pro kits from Estes, like the Majestic and the Trajector, I've thrown G80s in it and gotten 2,800, 3,000 feet out of them things and recovered them. Granted, they fly so fast you can't see them, but you know, I've done it. You know, or you can do something really low, like, you know, an E16 or an F15 or something, and get a slower, or I don't know, more majestic flight. It's great that they stuck with the parachute. And that's the other thing. I think you can buy just the actual Dured Max parachutes from Estes now. I know I've seen 18 inch. They might have a 24 inch as well. Don't quote me on that though. So those are some comparisons between the two. I will probably do a build series on one or both. Who knows? Maybe I'll build them at the same time. That'd be kind of neat. A neat experience. Oops. Alright. Yeah. That's it for those ones. I've got about 10 other kits I want to do unboxings for, so I'll see you guys later.